Hello and welcome to today's video. A while back, like towards the end of December of last year, I asked you for your unpopular opinions. It was a popular tag going around at the time. I feel like it kind of makes its cycles in the beauty community. It comes back ever so often. You sent them, but I never actually filmed that video. So appy polylogies, thumbs up if you get that reference. But anyway, I recently asked again, both on my Instagram as well as my community tab here on YouTube. I got a healthy mix of both beauty related opinions as well as some that were just totally random. I look forward to reacting and responding to them today. For a visual, I will also be using my Shop My Stash products for July. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's go ahead and get into it. Two things I want to mention just while clipping my hair back. Number one, thank you to anyone who submitted your opinions. I literally couldn't film this video without them. And then number two, like I said, I will be using my Shop My Stash products. I'm not really going to talk about my thoughts on the products because I'll be saving that for my Shop My Stash video towards the end of this month or the beginning of August. If you do have questions about them though, feel free to leave them in the comments. Not in my Shop My Stash, I just really like this primer. This is the Shake Primer from KVD. This is the primer I reach for most often. A lot of times, more in the winter time, but concealer tends to accentuate my dry patches, and I don't find that happening with this. It just gives a really smooth base for the eyeshadow to adhere to. I would love to see them take this formula and make a tinted version. That would be really cool. I am going to do my brows before getting into the opinions as well. This is the Patrick Ta Shaping Wax. I have to be careful with this. A couple of weeks ago, the actual product became completely separated from the pan. If you have this, let me know if that's happened to you. I don't know if I've just gotten really aggressive with my spoilie. My brows are a little bit of a mess right now. I am getting them waxed next week. I'm going to back comb first. I also did a little bit of the NYX Brow Glue because I can't help myself. For shadow, I have two options, and I have to admit, one of these I have not touched, and we're almost towards the end of July. That's Taupe from ColourPop. I've reached for a handful of times, but the ABH Norvina, this is the volume 3. I have not opened this yet. I still got a week or so to get some use out of this. I think I'm going to do, at first I was thinking I was going to do like peaches and like the deep pink and purple in this palette, but I actually think I want to go more for like the greens in here and some of the teal. I had a pedicure last night and my toes are currently like the hottest neon green, and I think that's inspiring me a little. All right, opinions, that's what you're here for. It's been a minute since I've actually done my makeup and talked at the same time. It's always a little disorienting. But anyway, the first opinion, and these are all anonymous of course, lip plumper glosses are pointless and should not exist. The effects don't last more than a minute. LOL. I do have to agree. I haven't tried a ton on the market, but I have tried the more popular ones like the Too Faced lip injection. I don't think I've ever had a full size, but I have had samples of many lip plumpers. And I do have to agree, a lot of times for like a minute or two, my lips will just hurt. Usually they get pretty red, but the results do not stick around. I did recently try, and when I say recent, I mean I bought this like 2 months ago, but this is Nabla the Viper. For one, I bought it because it had great reviews, but two, it also has the cutest packaging. It has a viper on the component. There's the head there. But I saw in the comments the way that someone mentioned using this, or in the reviews, is that they use it like prep and they put it on before they actually start their makeup. And then by the time they get to the lip portion, all that stickiness has worn off and they're just left with plumped lips. I have been using it sometimes when I film, and I feel like at least by the time I do my pictures for Instagram and take my photos, I feel like the effects are still there, but it doesn't last all day, of course. But I will put it on today. You will have to tell me what you think, if you think it works. And this one just has a twist up. And this one isn't like super sticky as compared to some other lip plumpers I've tried or glosses in general. We'll see how well it actually holds up because I'll be talking. I don't usually talk to myself while I'm doing my makeup. And if I had to rate the way this actually feels on my lips, like a 10 being like, oh my God, it burns, I'd say it's like a 3. It's really not that intense. Eating some kind of spicy food would probably give the same result. It looks like I'm wearing some kind of lip gloss, like a tinted lip gloss. My lips have gotten very pink. Next, and this is super fitting for the color that I'm applying. Avocados are absolutely disgusting, texture, taste, and consistency. Puke emoji. I do have to wholeheartedly disagree because I love avocado, but I understand as someone who has a lot of texture issues when it comes to food. I won't say a lot because I'm not like a super picky eater, but there are just certain things I won't eat because of the texture. The first thing that comes to mind is flan. Anything that has that slimy texture to it, I can't do it. So I do understand. I am kind of picky when it comes to avocado though. It has to be ripe. If it's too ripe, I won't eat it. Like the same with the banana. It has to be a good color for me to actually use it. But I do love avocado, especially guacamole. I feel so rusty with eyeshadow. I've been reaching for creams a lot lately, or I've just been doing a single shade all over. I have used the That's Taupe palette, but it's been a minute since I've worked with anything bright or colorful. This teal shade is super pigmented. The next one is a 3-parter. This show, Friends, is overrated, Sushi is almost puke emoji, as well as How You Remind Me by Nickelback is a great song. Let's unpack that, starting with number 1, talking about Friends. I feel like Friends is one of those shows that is very polarizing. Either you absolutely love it, you know every single line of dialogue, think it's the greatest thing ever invented, or you fall into another category of you may have seen a few episodes. It might make you chuckle a little bit, but you overall think it's overrated and know there is better comedy out there. I fall into that second category. I don't hate Friends. Anything I enjoy about Friends or love about Friends is because of my best friend. It's her favorite show. So growing up, we would watch it all of the time. She loves Chandler and I was more of a Joey fan. So we would have all of these little inside jokes back and forth. We would quote their dialogue, you know what you do when you're a teen. And that's what I love about Friends. It's because of her. It's not something that I would put on now. I didn't watch the reunion. I just don't really care. I will say too, I'm just not really a sitcom person. I love Schitt's Creek. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. But other than that, the only sitcom that I really, really love is Will and Grace. I think it is way funnier than Friends, and I'm comparing it to that because it was on at the same time. The 4 main characters on there, all of them are irreplaceable and all of them are equally funny and bring something to the table. I could watch that show over and over again, and I cannot say the same about Friends. Let me know what you think if you are someone who is obsessed with it or if you fall into that other category. I'm sure you could find this for Friends too, but a while ago I saw on YouTube someone took the laugh track off of Big Bang Theory, a certain portion of an episode, and it was so awkward, like not funny at all. It was so weird. It's just human nature to want to laugh too when we hear someone else laugh, and when you take that away, it's just dead silence. And I'd be curious to see if it was similar for Friends, if it was as funny without the laugh track. I dampened this brush before applying this shimmer and it looks so smooth, not chunky at all. Sushi is one of those things, again, I understand the texture of it can be off-putting, and then also it's a lot of different things combined into one. And if you don't like any of those things, you probably won't like the whole thing. There are so many different types, and then you have like just regular sushi and then also maki, which is generally what I eat more of. I can't really do raw fish. I've tried. I just had sushi last night and I was with one of my best friends and I was reminiscing about like 10 years ago. I was with her at the very same restaurant and I had a Philadelphia roll, which is cream cheese as well as raw salmon. I think it's salmon or it's tuna. Either way, I took a bite of this and the ratio was just completely off and I almost threw up. And I've never had a Philadelphia roll again. I cannot do it. So while I love sushi, again, that is one I can totally understand. I will get to the Nickelback question, but I want to put on my lashes first. These are the Ardell 424s. I am absolutely obsessed with this style. I do use the 421s on occasion. I also have a 4-pack of those, and then I have some other styles that I purchased, but these are the ones that I generally gravitate towards. I just applied the blur stick from Milk. When it comes to Nickelback and that song in particular, I haven't listened to it in a really long time. I can hear the chorus in my head, so I remember it very entirely well. The only thing it makes me think of is being in the car growing up because it was played so often on popular radio. But it's fine. It's not something that I'm going to go and listen to on my own. Do I think it's the worst song ever? Do I think Nickelback is the worst band ever? No, I'm not a fan, but I also don't feel like who am I to say what's good and what's not? Music is so personal for each and every one of us. We all like particular sounds, sometimes particular decades and genres, and then even sometimes just certain songs resonate with us. Sometimes it's just one line that we may feel really attracted to or attached to. And who am I to say whether that's a good or bad thing? I will say I listened to a podcast. That being said, I really love this podcast because I think I'm just kind of a glutton for punishment. It's called Your Favorite Band Sucks. And everyone in my life is probably sick and tired of hearing about it because I talk about it and recommend it so often. I started listening to it a few months ago, and it's just two guys giving their opinions on bands that they feel suck for one reason or another. Sometimes it's like technicality issues, and then other times it's the actual people, or a combination of both. What first drew me into them was they covered Coheed and Cambria, which has been one of my favorite bands for a really long time, as well as Depeche Mode. I devoured both of those episodes, and it didn't make me change my feelings towards those bands at all, even though I agreed with many of their opinions. But they've covered everyone. Like their first one was on the Beatles. They've done Nirvana. I would encourage you to check it out if that's something that sounds intriguing to you. They did an episode on Nickelback, and I was fully anticipating them just ripping them apart. But instead, they spent the hour or however long it was talking about and making points for why they aren't the worst band ever and how they've just become the easy scapegoat. It's become really cool and just like the popular thing to say that Nickelback sucks. I can't remember what the coverage of this foundation is like, so I'm going slow. There's always a little yellow on me. I think I'm actually a little too tan for it. I only have from my Shop My Stash my contour from KVD. I might actually need some bronzer too. No celebrity skincare appeals to me at all. It's just hyped up and packaged prettily to bring in dollar sign. Celebrity-backed makeup brands are different. Many are great quality. Example, Fenty. I would have to agree with this one, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. I'm trying to think of any celebrity skincare brands that I like, and the only one that I can really come up with is Josie Maran. I believe she started her career as a model, but she got into the skincare side way before it started to feel like a cash grab for many other celebrities. I believe it's been at least 10 years or close to. So that's my one exception. But in recent years, especially this last year, so many of them have launched, and I also have not been interested in any of them. The only one that I can say I've tried, and I've only tried one thing, but Alicia Keys brand. I don't think I would have purchased this on my own, but through work, I got gratis of the Golden Cleanser, and I love it. It's become one of my favorite cleansers. I plan on talking about it in a video soon, and then also just showing it in action. I know JLo came out with her own. Again, I haven't looked into that at all. I very much agree with that opinion. If you have one that you love, do let me know in the comments. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. You can still see the shine from the lip plumper. That stayed, but I can't feel any plumpness at all anymore, and I definitely can't see it anymore. So I think you proved your point. When I do my makeup, normally it doesn't take as long because I'm not talking at the same time, but now it is completely gone. Natural makeup is prettier than full glam. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth with this. I don't think one's prettier than the other. The whole no makeup has been really popular in the past couple of years, and I think it takes just as much effort, truly. But I feel like, and I know this seems like very diplomatic, but it's, whatever you want to wear. If you want to do full glam and lashes and full coverage foundation and whatever else, that's totally up to you. Or if you don't want to wear any makeup, that's totally fine. Makeup is whatever we want it to be. It can be your passion, or it doesn't have to be that serious, something you can wear for just special occasions. I can't really say that I like one more than the other. I generally don't do full glam unless I'm filming or if I have somewhere to go. On work days, I keep it very simple. I wear a mask to work still, so really just concealer, and sometimes I'll do something on my eyes. I always do my brows, and occasionally I'll put on blush, but I definitely don't do full glam every day. I do think just natural makeup can be really pretty. Things that just accentuate certain areas of your face or certain features, or what appears to be simple, like those one and done eyeshadow looks. So much of that is just technique and placement of where you put your makeup and your product. And I think that can be really pretty too, just as pretty as Full Glam. I kind of just treated that as a bronzer, but I am going to add a little more. And then for blush, and I have to say, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the actual makeup, but I have not been liking using this. I bought this for the packaging, of course. Like, look at the inside. It is so freaking cute. And I have a thing for bees as it is. I knew I had to have this when it launched, but there is glitter in it. I used it in a video and I was like okay with it, but out in the sun, out and about, that glitter really shows. And also too, it does spread by the end of the day. I did mention I wear a mask to work, so with taking that on and off, down by the end of the day, my glitter is down here. So I have not enjoyed having this in my shop, my stash. This is just one that's pretty to look at. I will put it on today though. Are they all like this? I think they launched like a few different colors. I think there was like 3 or 4. It's more than just shimmer. Like, I'm fine with shimmer. We'll see if we can pick any of it up on my camera. I love the color. Like, the peachiness is so pretty. I am going to tone some of it down with my Peach Perfect Setting Powder, this one from Too Faced. Just working on my under eye. The next one was simply, I hated the movie Bridesmaids. I didn't hate it, I just don't remember it at all. I know I've seen it. I've seen it once. The only thing I can remember is the infamous scene of taking a shit in the street. Everything else is just a blur to me. My thought about that movie is yay, women in comedy, but it's just not really my brand of comedy or humor. I already alluded to this fact, and I always feel like such an asshole when I say it, but I'm just not into those types of movies. When you think of like the really popular hit comedies that are like slapstick comedy and often just like offensive, which I don't mind. I don't mind vulgar humor, but it has to be smart. I love dark comedy and I love like witty comedy, but those clear shots that have just been redundant and have been done so many times, I'm not into it. When I think of, and what is probably my most unpopular opinion, is I don't like Will Ferrell for the most part. I love E.l.f. and I love Step Brothers for whatever reason, because it definitely falls into the category of all the movies I just mentioned. But old school, I almost said old boy, old school Talladega Nights, those kind of movies, I'm not into it. I've tried. I just don't think it's funny. So I'm sure I thought the same thing of Bridesmaids when I saw it, but it's not a diss against Bridesmaids. It's that whole genre as a whole. I'm just not into it. I have this yellow liner that I threw into my Shop My Stash, and as you can see, I haven't opened it yet. I know it would go well with what I'm wearing, but if part of me just wants to put on black, I'll try it. I guess I'll use it just because it is in my Shop My Stash, if I can open the damn thing. I have a few of these, and most of them I find wear really well throughout the day on the waterline. Of course, they dissipate some, but they're still visible at the end of the day, so we'll see if that's true of the yellow. I'm getting a workout in after this, so I'm really going to put it to the test. My unpopular opinion is that I'm over Disney collabs. I mean, ColourPop alone has done 2 Princess collections, a Villains collection, a Bambi collection, a Frozen collection, and a Mulan collection. They're always so overrated due to the branding. Agreed. I'm not like, I don't roll my eyes every time a new Disney collab comes out, but I also, it doesn't make me want it. I like Disney just as much as the next person. I grew up with it. We had all the VHSs growing up. I love Disney World. My family, a lot of them are Disney freaks. I have several people in my family that go multiple times a year. I haven't been in a really long time, but I do still really love it. I love the nostalgia of it, and I do want to go back. But does it need to be crossed over into the makeup world all the time? No, I don't think so. I think it's another cash grab. There are so many collectors out there, and it's probably just easy money, especially for ColourPop and all of their new releases. They're always coming out with so many. That's also another opinion on here that I'll say next. The first brand I recall actually having a Disney collab is Besame Cosmetics, and it's about the only thing that I know them for. I haven't tried anything from that brand. The packaging always looks so pretty, but no one ever actually talks about the makeup itself. I have to actually go and look at reviews. I don't even know if they're cruelty free. I just got some mascara right here. I'm going to clean that up in a minute. But yeah, I could go without not seeing another Disney collab, but it wouldn't bother me either way. If I saw another one, I just wouldn't need it. I look more at the inside. Do I actually want the shadows or the shades or whatever else it is? I am going to use this highlighter from Rituel de Fille. I almost forgot about it. I just swatched it on the back of my hand. It has a redness to it as well when it shifts, but right now you can really only see the pink. I think it will go well with this blush though, so I am going to add a bit. Only 2 opinions left. So the next one is I hate how makeup companies make huge collection releases but leave out the darker side of the color spectrum. So it leaves out those of us who want to try them. They are getting better, but just saying. And then she goes on to say, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe this isn't an unpopular opinion. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion, but I am glad you brought it up. I don't think it's something that many of us had an opinion on. I'm guilty of that. It's not something that I always paid attention to unless it was thrown in my face. The biggest thing I can think of is with Tarte, I think it was the Shape Tape, maybe the foundation, when they released that awful trash shade range, especially with how popular the Shape Tape concealer is. And Alyssa Ashley and Jackie Aina made a video on it. That was put in my face and I was like, oh yeah, that's awful. But before then, I didn't really always take the time to actually look at the shade range when brands had new launches. It wasn't something that I always looked for. Now I do. I don't always catch it, but I do try to be aware when brands launch new products, whether it be a foundation or a palette, lipsticks, whatever it is. I want to make sure that I'm supporting launches that work for everybody. So while I agree that I don't know if it really fits into the unpopular opinions tag, that's fine. I'm still glad you brought it up. It is important to talk about these things. It's important to keep brands accountable, especially like through social media, but most importantly with your wallet. If you notice a brand has released a new foundation and it only works for 12 shades of white and maybe one like medium tan, that's not cool. Everyone should be able to buy it. It's like the most basic thing, and it sucks that we even have to have this conversation, but we need to have it now and continually have it so that things do actually change in the makeup space. I always try to talk and do my lips at the same time, and I'm probably gonna have lipstick on my teeth. And the last one before I put on my setting spray, what about just ColourPop's releases in general? I feel like they come out with something every day, but I'm guilty of loving most of their releases. They do. I can't even keep up with ColourPop releases. And it's gotten to the point, and it's been pretty bad for a while now, it's gotten to the point where I just don't pay attention. Like ColourPop has something new, cool, keep scrolling, and I really like their products, so it's just oversaturated. I'm sure there's good stuff there, but there's just so much that comes out. I don't really take the time to investigate it. I'm trying to remember the last launch I bought from ColourPop. I think it was the Animal Crossing launch. I knew I was gonna have to have that as a huge Animal Crossing fan. And then I've also bought the It's a Taupe palette that's in my Shop My Stash. I don't know when that was launched. And that honestly, I probably wouldn't have purchased if I didn't work for Ulta. I just happened to see it. I usually, before working for Ulta, did a lot of my shopping online. So I wouldn't discover like a half of the things that I actually own now that are in my collection. So I guess it doesn't affect me either way. It was a slight annoyance in the beginning and now I just don't pay attention at all. You'll have to let me know below in the comments what you think about all my opinions, if you agree or disagree with them. Also, let me know if you want a part 2. Let me actually take my hair down before doing my little outro here so you can see everything all together. I got so used to having them in my hair, I almost forgot. Got a little crimp in my hair now. I like how my makeup turned out today. It's not what I thought I was going to do going into this video, but I like it. It gives me very like a mermaid summery vibes, which it is July, so I guess that is fitting. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, you can let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see me and more of my remarks, please subscribe if you haven't already. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.